Alright, in this next video we have our pseudocode in, and so we are going to start adding some actual code or syntax in a RobotC syntax into our program for our Vex robot. Now, the first thing you want to do, and this is really important, is that we want to make sure that RobotC is set up to talk to our cortex, or our robot's brain, basically, and that it's also in the correct language that we're going to be using. And so in order to do that, we need to go into this robot drop down, and we need to go into then a platform type. We need to make sure that under Vex Robotics, the Vex 2.0 cortex is selected. So that's the brain we're going to be using for our robot. The other thing we have to do is the same process. We have to make sure the correct language is selected. So we're going to go to Robot again, select Platform Type, and then select Natural Language, PLTW. Alright. When we do that, it changes the function library here to something that we will be using in class, and I will be kind of coming back to over and over again. And so the syntax that we need to do these things, most of them can be found under this natural language section. And we are going to be doing mostly movement and using the Intel part of this section as well to write our code. Now, this text function library, we can literally drag and drop things over here into our task main, which is sort of like the thing that the part of the code where it's like, hey robot, this is where your actual instructions are going to be that we want you to do. So we're going to start by waiting until a button is pressed, and we can find that under the Intel section, and we're going to go down to Intel Touch and drag that into here. And I'm going to add a comment on the end of this so we know what this does. So 2 forward slashes for a single line comment, and we're going to just say that this waits until our go button is pressed on our Dragster. Next, we are going to start the motors, and with RobotC, we are going to start one motor at a time. Now this happens really quickly, so you got to remember this is happening digitally or electronically, so starting 2 motors happens very quickly, so you're not going to see anything weird with your Dragster starting one motor before the other. And so we're going to add a comment here that this starts one of our motors, and we're going to just call this for fun right motor. And then we're going to start another motor, which is going to be our left motor. And then, as we had discussed, we're going to wait for 10 seconds. So I'm grabbing the wait time function. And in wait time, we had discussed waiting for 10 seconds. And so we're going to wait for 10 seconds. And then we want to stop our motors. So we're going to go to Stop Motor under the Movement section here. And we'll stop maybe our right motor first. Stop right motor, and then we're going to stop. You can actually type too if you want to, the syntax here. Motor port. And we'll use this to stop left motor. I just realized that maybe I need to blow this up a little bit so you can see a little bit better. So Control plus to make the screen a little bit bigger. And hopefully you can see everything a little bit better. I'll bring this up here. Now, it's a good habit to do some tabs here just to stay organized with regards to your syntax. So we can see that's embedded within task main. And so this is the beginning to our syntax that will hopefully drive our initial Dragster prototype. And in our next video, we're going to talk about setting up the motors and sensors so that we can then run this code on one of our Dragster test beds.